check. Oh, that looks hot. All right, we're good. You clap?
I'm going to clap it in 3.
There's your clap. 3, 2, 1. Oh, man, such perfect timing.
Read all about it. Read all about it.
There he goes.
Early. The extra edition is in 3 days early.
Yes.
Recording on a Thursday because Mike he's going to do kissy face with his girlfriend.
I got in Nashville, man.
Yeah, baby.
All righty. What do we got?
We got a strike. Writer's strike
on the picket line today.
Started yesterday. Tell me about the strike line. I have not been on it yet. I feel guilty saying it. I'll be out there tomorrow.
You should be guilty saying that.
What's the vibe? What are people saying?
Well, listen, it's the softest picket line. So I show up. Meanwhile, I didn't get there on time, of course, but I show up and it's like you sign in here, and it's a digital pad. Ask for I didn't know my member number, but she found me by my name. You're all registered. I'm like, great. She's like, grab yourself a donut. We got Starbucks. And then grab yourself a sign. So I go over, I get the summit, and she's like, want me to hold your sign while you're adding cream to your coffee? And I'm picturing Harlan County, USA, or whatever, that famous documentary. It's in almost everybody's top 10 documentaries all the time about the coal miners' strike. And just this is a far cry from one of those strikes.
So can you add cream and grab a tire iron right next to the table?
No joke. Fixins? There were 2 milks that they had, in Starbucks cups, right?
Yeah.
That's how Starbucks delivered or whatever it was. And I wasn't kidding. I was like, I bet one of these is oat milk for the strike, for the brotherhood, for the fraternal organization, or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, look, it's very hard to rally support behind a union that people think is wealthy and spoiled, but the truth is most Americans spend an hour to 4 hours a day sitting on their TV or in a movie theater enjoying the fruits of the labor of about 1,200 people, and our earnings are down 30% over the last 5 years. There are something like 20 studio heads that make almost $1 billion a year.
Oh, their raises you could say, oh yeah, but they're in hard times now. Their raises just these last 2 years. It's insane.
So the problem is that you're not always working as a writer. And in order to follow this and make it an occupation, you have to be able to afford to not work for sometimes years at a time. Yeah. You and I have been without jobs since the pandemic, pretty much.
Yep.
And
you often have to pay for your health care like you're doing.
I'm paying $3,000 a month out of pocket for my health coverage.
You also have to pay to stay in the union, even when you're not getting income.
Yep. And so, you count on residuals, which means you write on something, and then as the studio continues to make record profits as things get rerun and resold, the writers traditionally have participated in that revenue share, and now they've cut that out since everything has gone streaming instead of on networks. So people can go, wah, but you know what? We're doing a service, and for every writer that succeeds are 100 that do not, 500 that do not.
Yeah. No, I know. I remember that one year, this is a different union, but the Screen Actors Guild, Julia Roberts got up, and I think it might have been Erin Brockovich. Anyway, she won, and she's like, oh my, and she was just absolutely ecstatic and giddy, and she's very good at being that, with her giant smile and stuff. And she's just like, I just love being an actor, and said something to the effect of, and it pays so well, kind of making a point she would do it if she didn't pay so well. And then they released the average salary of a Screen Actors Guild member was $5,000 a year.
Yeah, you're right.
And that includes her $25 million a picture.
Yeah.
And the top people who make literally over $20 million a picture, it includes them. and it includes the giant TV salaries because they're doing 22 episodes or even 10 on a famous series. So anyway,
I neglected to collect the best tweets from the writer's strike. Here's some of the funniest signs that they've seen.
yeah.
I
picked up a sign. It already had a handwritten thing on it as if I did it. And it was, what we have here is a failure to compensate. And I'm like, oh, great. So now it looks like I'm on strike demanding to be paid more for puns and for wordplay. I'm like, I want a different sign. How's that Teamster going to feel when I'm like, don't cross my wordplay sign?
I worked for Sex in the City and Two Broke Girls. This one said, my neck, my back, we need a fair contract.
All right.
We got, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not really putting our best foot forward.
We should not do these.
I'm on strike. You write the fucking sign.
Okay, that's a step in the right direction. I saw one, give us our money or we'll tell you how Succession ends.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That was a good one.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
Sure.
We just had a lovely lunch with our good friends from college, George and Mal from Connecticut. They're very Connecticut, George and Mal. You know.
What gave it away? Their son, whose name is Bennett. Great guy, by the way.
Or his name that's George, or his brother's name that's
Forrest.
Forrest.
Yeah. That might
hilarious. Be it. But they are very fine people, and we had a nice lunch. I was so excited to see them.
Yeah,
and their son
really
is the same age as my son, so we're going to put them in touch. Owen will bring him to the dark side of Venice Beach and introduce him to all kinds of things he's not used to that they don't have in Connecticut.
Right.
And they're coming to my show tonight.
That's great. No, get them to the store. That'll be really fun.
Yeah. Do you think, I was thinking about this driving home, should we have picked up the check since this is our city? What's the protocol? Because they picked up the check.
Well, we tried. It was 3 of them. It was 3 of them, and it was just you and I individually. But I would say they're loaded.
They are loaded.
And I had to leave a picket line early to get there.
Yes, and and then they made fun of my Prius when we walked back to the parking lot, which is filthy and dented, and it had a parking ticket on it for $55.
And I was on a scooter, like a Vespa type thing, so it couldn't have looked more pathetic. And also, you're treating them to a show tonight.
That's right. Okay, I feel much better now.
Yeah, I have nothing going for me, but except I'll be like, you're welcome for going to Greg's show tonight. I'll just add
maybe you can get Sophie to date their son. He's a handsome guy.
Oh, guy looks like a model, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Is she too young for him? No.
No.
She's 19 and he's 22. That's fine.
She's 20 in a couple of weeks.
Oh, right.
And she's going to walk in the door during this podcast, I think. Already home from Michigan. I don't know what the hell I'm paying for.
I know.
They get out. They end the school year in April.
Meanwhile, it's fucking freezing until April. How about give them a month and a half of decent weather to be on campus?
No, nothing. I know.
That's the crazy part.
And it's not a weird quarter system. It's semesters. It's just straight up semesters.
How's her grades?
And I don't get it.
Do you know what her grades are?
Oh, she does well. I don't know what Spanish. I think she took Spanish. Imagine taking. I don't know how I didn't take college level Spanish. I just don't know.
I took college level French.
You see, well, like you can tell. I mean, when you flash it.
Oui.
Yeah. All right. Hollywood Bowl show was great.
This was Willie Nelson's 90th birthday.
Willie Nelson's 90th birthday. I mean, Snoop, Beck, Neil Young, Bob Weir was there, Margot Price. Dude, the next, and I know they've been around, so don't write letters, but the kind of newer, younger generation, like Nathaniel Rateliff, that voice, and I mean, Lucas Nelson, who people have been raving about for a while, he sang a version from the second night. It's on YouTube. He's dressed in black compared to the first night.
This is Willie's son?
Willie's son, he has two, but Lucas Nelson sang Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground. And it's like a Stapleton meets Willie Nelson. And he has his dad, that falsetto. And it was just incredible. And Stapleton played, and Sturgill Simpson, and Jack Johnson, and it was great.
I wonder if Ray Lynn Nelson was there. She's been on my podcast. That's his granddaughter.
She might have been. It was a bit of a family affair at one point.
She's very talented. Check out the Ray Lynn Nelson band if you get a chance. What about Tom Jones?
He was okay. He did a song that he did of Willie's way back, but he didn't really like belt it. But he it was he's positive energy. Christopherson was an emotional moment both nights. The first night, Roseanne Cash sang with him, and the second night, Norah Jones. And he's struggling. I mean, I think in the press they're saying it's side effects of Lyme disease, and so he's but he remembers the words to his songs. So
remember women used to throw their panties on stage?
What, to him?
Yeah, that was the big thing.
Yeah, I think my mom would have. I grew up, my mom played Christopherson nonstop. And dude, he was not only king of Nashville for a spell, but also kind of king of Hollywood leading men he's the shit, dude. He's a Rhodes Scholar.
No.
Oh, played football in college, Rhodes Scholar, I believe I have all this right, got an offer to teach English at West Point, turned it down to become a janitor in Nashville in the building where Cash worked, and would slip song lyrics underneath the door.
Wait, I thought he was Scottish.
Chris Christopherson?
Oh, no, I said Tom Jones.
No, I'm talking about Christopherson, Brownsville, Texas.
Okay. All right,
yeah,
listen.
No, I think the listeners were with me on that. We had firmly moved over to Christopherson.
We had not. I had just said Tom Jones. How is Tom Jones?
Good, and then I moved it to Christopherson, saying it was the emotion.
It's almost like it's 4:45
You heard me.
On a Thursday.
You guys heard me.
And we both have a post-lunch crash going on. Craig Godet, who is a big, big supporter of the show, sends us a lot of great artwork, did the logo for this week. It was a reference to my guilty pleasure of Seals and Croft.
Yeah,
so
look at that.
With a little mandolin.
Look at us.
Yeah. The song.
Is that's the real facial hair on the album?
Apparently.
Wow. Okay.
The standing guy looks a little like Barry Gibb.
He does look very Barry Gibb. Country Gibb.
The song, speaking of music, comes from Mark Fitzgerald, who really went in his basement and just fucking tapped into his soul. Let that
Thank
shit
you, Mark.
out.
And thank you, Craig, for the logo.
Corrections, we got Bob Pedersen, who is a anally retentive fan who likes to point out everything we do wrong with love.
I bet there's already a couple things wrong. I forgot what you were saying earlier, but yeah.
He said the song, we were talking about Harry Belafonte, and he said the song was Day-O, the Banana Boat song. You called it the Banana Song. Christ, Greg, what the hell?
I'm surprised he even knew what you were referencing, but he got it somehow.
Day-O!
Banana!
Greg and Mike. This is from Andy in San Diego. I have a
Sure.
question on what is the point of having a producer if Greg keeps reading the same email multiple times on the show. I know Chris Denman is super busy with his Guns for Toddlers rallies, but can't
like
he
it.
filter the emails that have been read prior to the show? Love the show. Well, I got to let Denman off the hook on this one. I go through the emails, and I have absolutely no memory at the age of 57. And either you or Denman usually catches it when I repeat one, but I guess I let one through that we had already did.
I think I called you out on repeating it last week, I believe. Yeah.
All right.
And just so you know, yes, he is pro Guns for Toddlers, Denman, but that's with background checks on the toddlers.
Oh, that's right.
He's not crazy.
And when we say background, skin color.
Right. Yes, it's really front ground, quite honestly.
This is the ghost of Tom Joad wrote this email.
Tom Chode.
Tom Chode.
Love it.
Love the pod. Been here since the start. The only time I feel like throwing my phone against the wall is when you guys talk about
Mr.
music.
Chode.
If it's not Bruce fucking Springsteen, it's some other
that's
relic
recent.
that was around when you were in your prime and you can't seem to move past. And even then you get it wrong every time. I can't stand Three Dog Night, but I know enough about music to recognize the songs Mike quoted as being their amazing tunes were all covers of other famous hits.
Not true.
One is a Harry Nilsson tune. Old Fashioned Love Song is a cover of Paul Williams. Joy to the World is a Hoyt Axton original. And even their big hit, Mama Told Me Not to Come, is a Randy Newman tune. These guys were a shitty cover band who couldn't write an original to save their lives. I was going to write about how I couldn't believe that somebody like Mike, who is such a Hollywood insider, had no idea who Chloe Sevigny is, but I'll leave that for another time.
Wait, when did I not know about her?
I was
know
talking
her.
about the movie Brown Bunny and how she performed full-on fellatio.
I saw that blowjob. Wait, how? I might have spaced out and didn't hear you, and I know...
I think we forgot both the actors' names in that scene.
Oh, I'm terrible with names, of course, but she starred in the movie Kids. I mean...
She was in that show about the polygamists on HBO.
Yeah. And so, I know who she is. And
anyway,
I've seen that video.
Don't brush past the fact that Three Dog Night is a cover band.
All right, so they're not... I mean, yes, he's right that they didn't write those songs, but calling them a cover band, especially... All right. First of all, backing up. This was under the guilty pleasure category. That's first of all. Second of all, so I'm guilty for a reason. Second of all, I don't know if you would really call it a cover song when it's written, by a songwriter and hasn't been recorded. And at least one of those, I'm forgetting which one, I think it might have been...
Paul Williams, I think, is more of a songwriter.
So
right?
Joy to the World, I believe Paul Williams recorded it after they did. Joy to the World, he recorded, I think, for the Carpenters, and they said no. I mean, he wrote it. He wrote it for the Carpenters, and they said no. And then Three Dog Night did it. And Hoyt Axton... Mama Told Me. I don't know if that had been recorded
Hoyt Axton
either.
wrote Joy to the World. Paul Williams wrote Old Fashioned Love Song.
Oh, right. Old Fashioned Love Song, I think, was for the Carpenters. Yes, it was. I did get that right. And Joy to the World by Hoyt Axton. I believe also Three Dog Night might have been the first to record it.
Well, listen, we also talk about new music. I was talking about Lizzo a year before she broke.
Yeah.
I've been talking about Kendrick Lamar when he was a kid. We were talking about him on this show. I talked about Anderson .Paak before he broke. We talked about the Growlers before they broke. Have they broken? Yeah. I don't even know if they have broken. But anyway, get off our backs. We're not old men.
We are old men.
I got
some. But I'd also challenge you. Like, we're talking about some greats. Like, who are the greats? I challenge everybody to tell me why And someone has, but not from this podcast. Someone has tried to tell me why Jay-Z deserves all the cred he gets, and that he sort of has had his hands in basically every big thing in music for the last 15 years, but either directly or indirectly. But you know, and I love Post Malone, but like it's like I like what band is a Radiohead now? Another, and I'm all ears. I'm not saying it's not out there, but I don't know who that is. Who is a band that
there's a lot of
20 years from now you're going to be like, they're one of the best bands of all time.
Yeah.
Who's that band now?
Right. Right.
5 years in, even if they're 10 years in, who's that band now?
Let us know. We will listen, and if they're good, we'll talk about them. This is a launching pad. Sunday Papers is a launching pad for young music. That's why people come. And you know why people come to the Huntington Rec Room on May 12th? Because Greg Fitzsimmons is headlining. It's a great place. That's Friday, May 12th, and then Columbia, Missouri at the Blue Note on May 19th. The following night, I will be in Kansas City at the Argosy Casino, Austin, Texas at the Mothership, May 25th to the 27th. Boston at Laugh Boston, June 16th and 17th. Point Pleasant, New Jersey, Uncle Vinny's in July. Go to fitzdog.com. Get some tickles. Come out, get some tickles. Come out and support live comedy, people.
You got to give our old friend Jerry, who lives in Austin, a heads up.
I'm so overloaded in Austin and Boston. I have so many people coming out already. I just don't.
Who do you have in Austin?
Bandwidth. I have my friend Debbie Drimmer, who's married to Cal Cahoon. They've been out there for a long time. I think Tony Hinchcliffe is going to take me golfing. I know about everyone that's already there, but all right, whatever. Jerry's a great laugher. I've got my whose sister? Oh, my friend Alex Gardner's sister, Julie. She's coming to a show.
Fuck Julie.
There's a bunch of people.
All right.
All right. Front page. Let's get to it.
I don't got paper. Yeah, good.
I got it.
Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
All right. Time code is 23 minutes, 2 seconds. 2 10-year-olds. Now, I'm going to probably say that again. Were found working at McDonald's in Louisville, Kentucky, where they prepared and served meals. Worked the drive-thru. Should you be able to work the drive-thru if you can't drive through a drive-thru?
Can you reach?
And the cash register and cleaned the store, according to federal labor officials. The children were occasionally working as late as 2 a.m., were never paid. I think one of their fathers was like a night manager and just made them work. But they found like hundreds of underage kids that were working at McDonald's. The restaurant let one of them use a deep fryer.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it sounds like the boss was a real clown. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I'll be in Kansas City 2 weeks.
Meanwhile, Asian 10-year-olds are like, oh, lucky. Wait a minute. Does that place have suicide nets around it like our workplace?
Yeah,
Wait a minute. You get out at 2 a.m., so it's a half day?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part about them getting to make the Happy Meals is that they just come out sad. Mommy, why are there tears on the bag?
At least these fries are hot. Imagine if they didn't let that 10-year-old work the fryer-later.
All right, let's get to this one.
All right, we got 2445. People don't need to know our timestamps.
All they need is the new sections. They don't need each story.
Oh, accessing porn in Utah is now a complicated process that requires a picture of your face.
Oh, boy.
Is it the face at the end or is it the face at the beginning where you're wide-eyed and searching? I wonder which.
Exactly. I mean, are they even going to recognize me squinting and sweating, red-faced? They're going to be like, Who's that guy?
He's turning Japanese, as the song used to say. As of Tuesday, many Utahns. Do you
By the
see
way,
how that's
before anybody
spelled?
thinks that you're racist, that is how that song was explained by the artists. Who were the artists of that song?
The Vapors?
I don't know.
Something like that. The Lepers?
Show me a modern Vapors. Show me a band that's as great as the Vapors.
Exactly. Even the one-hit wonders. Come on now, step it up. All right, I didn't know it was Utahns, but as of Tuesday, many Utahns navigating to Pornhub were met with a notice that they can't enter the website with a video of an adult performer, Sherry DeVille, gently explaining, she was on the website, that thanks to their elected officials, specifically Republican Senator Todd Weiler and Governor Spencer Cox, they are now completely banned from using the site. All of the sites under the same ownership as Pornhub, and it lists them all, have also pulled out of Utah with a message, please contact your representatives before it is too late and demand device-based verification solutions that make the internet safer while also respecting your privacy. So, what exactly do you have to do to get on a porn website?
Something.
Right. So here, and I quote, I copied this from the article. They did this, and they wrote about it. In our case, the steps included downloading the Yoti app on a mobile phone, signing up for an account, scanning a QR code on the X-Hamster site, giving consent for Yoti to scan our face, entering our date of birth, agreeing to several pages of terms and conditions, a privacy policy, and acknowledgement of how Yoti may use personal data for research purposes. You get a verification code via text, you create a 5-digit PIN, you scan and upload a selfie, scanning also a government-issued ID, and waiting for Yoti to review it. In this case, we uploaded our U.S. passport to Yoti, tried to allow our iPhone to detect the details of our passport, eventually had to scan it manually, then waited several... Keep in mind, you're trying to jerk off here.
Yeah.
Then waited several minutes for the app to verify it. Due to, quote, higher demand than usual, the app said this would take longer than usual. How long is usual? The app did not say. But ultimately, processing took about 5 minutes. Once it's finished, we had to go back to the X-Hamster site to scan the QR code. And again, because the original one had timed out, we then had to register an account on X-Hamster and were asked what our kinks were and what types of porn we wanted to see.
Oh, my God.
So now Mormons will know my search words are real estate agent squirting. I don't want the Mormons knowing that.
God. I mean, it's supposed to be a spontaneous act. That's not true. I've occasionally planned a masturbation session, but 99% of the time, it's spontaneous. I mean, by the time you do all this stuff, like your wife is back from the store, your roommate's back from the gym, your cellmate's back from the yard. I mean, it steps on all the fun.
Also, whatever, not to blow it up, there'll be no more porn in Utah, but it's like, boy, you're really vetting our side of it. Meanwhile, you are sort of endorsing or at least validating a site that has had underage people. Like, what about really going to that fire first?
All I know is it's a matter of time until these two senators are found with their pants down at a fucking gas station somewhere. They're anybody that has to put these kind of laws down, there's something they're hiding. There's something they're regulating. They're trying to regulate themselves.
I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of porn with those two guys' faces, artificially intelligenced on.
I like that.
Yeah, on porn stars. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, so a little bit of a drag. So sorry. All right, next
Speaking
story.
of drags.
The good one. The U.S. Navy invited an active duty drag queen to be a digital ambassador. It's part of a recent drive, quote, to attract the most talented and diverse workforce and combat plunging recruitment. Yeoman Second Class Joshua Kelly, who identifies as non-binary, was appointed as the first of 5 Navy digital ambassadors in a pilot program that ran from October to March. In the Navy, I've learned this, they call non-binary drag queens amphibious troops.
They do?
Yeah. I might have made that up, but I think that's a good name for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
this guy's smart. Dress up as a woman, boat sinks. It's women and children first.
That is smart.
Yep.
Hey, crack open a Bud Light. Join the Navy. Cue the Village People song In the Navy. This can't get more fun.
This is like, do you remember in MASH, that guy Klinger? Remember he
Yeah.
dressed in drag? I mean, he was way ahead of his time.
I know, but it's now foiled. His whole plan was to get discharged because he dressed like a woman.
Well,
They really kept that joke going, didn't they?
they did until they didn't.
Oh.
I don't remember what season, but he decided that he was no longer going to dress in drag. It was actually like a very poignant statement he was making about the war.
Oh, well, maybe he got moody. It could have been that time of the month, and then he's not into it anymore.
Got
Or
tired of getting fucked in the showers.
the dress probably got a little tight,
Yeah.
and then you don't like being reminded that you've put on a few lbs and you're getting
Yeah.
older.
Speaking of getting older, how about this next story?
Oh, Tucker?
Yeah.
S- I don't think, is that a segue?
I'm looking
Since-
for segues, sometimes you
Since
force
his
a little
ouster, embarrassing reports on Tucker Carlson pile up. A week after Fox News fired star Tucker Carlson for reasons that remain unexplained, he has been the subject of a handful of embarrassing stories about some of his private messages and statements while at the network. So I got this in the New York Times, but everyone was saying that when the investigation happened, all of these statements were uncovered by the lawyers for, the voting system, and that Fox saw all those. So the speculation is that's why he was shit canned, is because they read
Yeah,
all
because
these.
it seemed weird that they fired him that easily and quickly. I had a
I
feeling
know.
there was more to it.
So the latest was in the it was in the New York Times Wednesday, reporting on a text message that had been redacted as part of a recent defamation case targeting the network. In it, Carlson declared that a group of Trump supporters beating a protester was, quote, not how white men fight.
Oof.
Meanwhile, how would Tucker know? Tucker still thinks you slap a man across the face with a glove and challenge him to a
Yeah.
duel.
Yeah, he's never been in a fight in his life. Tucker Carlson I will categorically say, has never been in a fight in his life.
And I bet people have tried to punch him in the face. I've seen video of people confronting him.
Yeah, and he acts like a pussy when they confront him. But I'll tell you this. I was thinking about this the other day.
God, he has
Like,
a punchable face.
Who's the person that you don't fuck with on the street? They say if a little guy wants to fight you, don't fight him.
Right.
And I will add to that. I can either go to MMA classes, I can train, I can run, I can take, supplements, or I can go to the local fucking dojo and buy a jacket with some Japanese characters and the word dojo written on it, and no one's fucking with me.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Maybe like have a scar on my neck, like it's just a rubber scarf. I'm in a bad neighborhood. I put it on my neck, blacken my eye.
I could buy a little decal or sew a little thing on my jacket, say HIV and proud. I don't know how many people want to punch me in the face then, or they're not going to headbutt me.
Yeah. Or write gay and litigious on my t-shirt. All right,
poor
let's do
Tucker.
some entertainment.
You got it.
All right.
All right, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame reveals class of 2023. Willie Nelson, Kate Bush, Missy Elliott, Sheryl Crow,
Wait a
Rage
minute.
Against them.
Is Kate Bush, if it's not because of that fucking song, her song was on a TV series. I can't remember which one. And
Yeah,
all
Euphoria.
You run down that road, you run down the hill. What else did she ever fucking do? All of a sudden, she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
She's amazing duet with. See, this is where I can't remember names on the album. So Peter Gabriel. Yeah, she's beloved critically and in the industry and all that stuff. So hold on here. There's 7. Willie Nelson, Kate Bush, Missy Elliott, Sheryl Crow, Rage Against the Machine, George Michael, and the Spinners. Okay, fine. And for anyone keeping score of the artists who don't make it in, the 7 nominees on the general ballot who missed the cut with the voters this go around are A Tribe Called Quest, Iron Maiden, Joy Division / New Order, Cyndi Lauper, Soundgarden, The White Stripes, and Warren Zevon.
Damn. I mean,
Yeah.
of those, who do you think was most overlooked?
Well, I mean, listen, A Tribe Called Quest is pretty, but if we're talking about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I mean, I think Warren Zevon, I think a lot, and Soundgarden, I think are the 2 that jump out to me.
Yeah, again,
they're older than, well, I don't know if Soundgarden's older than Joy Division and New Order, but Warren Zevon certainly is.
I mean, A Tribe Called Quest, if you're not looking at genre and you're just looking at musical influence, they had a huge influence on music.
Yeah.
And maybe more so than anybody else. But in terms of pure rock, I think you got to put Soundgarden in there before anybody else.
Yeah, even Iron Maiden, I mean, yeah, I don't know. But all right, so get this, though. God damn it.
Oh, boy, here we go.
There are 6 more inductees this year, with the distinction of being selected by a select Hall of Fame committee to join the 7 performers who were voted in via general balloting. Those include singer Shaka Khan, instrumentalist producer Al Cooper, and lyricist Bernie Taupin, all in the musical excellence category. What?
Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah, that's a tough one for you. I know
I'm sorry. As soon as you separate Bernie Taupin from Elton John, he's fucking unemployed.
Right.
Not even writing greeting cards. Fired. Fired. First day of writing greeting cards.
If you're talking about separating them, how about Art Garfunkel? He's Art Garfunkel. He's Sonny of Sonny and Cher. There's always a weak link.
If I was in the Hall of Fame, but then again, no. How about that? Take it away. You still have time. It's ridiculous.
Goodbye, Hall of Fame.
Unbelievable. Honestly. I can't even. Drivel. It's just terrible. And you don't even realize, people don't even realize the context. We went into it on one of the podcasts. Like Rocket Man comes out a year or 2 after Bowie's Space Oddity. Like are you kidding me?
By the way, how is that Bowie documentary? Have you seen that?
I still haven't seen it. Mikey says it's fantastic and done very creatively. It was a different approach.
Yeah, I want to sit down and watch it. I just realized yesterday I was looking at my Netflix or whatever it's on, and I was like, holy shit, how did I miss that one?
I didn't see it forever because he said you got to go to IMAX. They made it in IMAX also, right? So I put it off forever, and now I went from being able to see it in IMAX, then not IMAX anymore, but just the theater, and now I'm watching it on my fucking TV. I'll probably watch it on my phone on a flight by the time I get to it.
Right.
Anyway, honestly, it's Hall of Fame. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It really is.
Hall
but
of
isn't the
Fame.
idea of giving awards to music ridiculous? I mean, I guess there's voters. I know Howard Stern is a voter, and I guess a couple of people on the show. I think Baba Booey might be a voter.
Jesus. Well, I know they're voting for sure for Soundgarden, Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Their friend Cyndi Lauper.
Yep.
And listen, I love the White Stripes. Do I think they should be in the Hall of Fame right now? No.
Not yet. They're not there yet.
And maybe, I don't know. I mean, were they that important?
The
I
White
don't know.
Stripes?
Yeah. I love them. And I was like, Kilborn was the first late night show to put them on the air. We had an amazing booker, but then they did Conan, and the White Stripes fell in love with Conan, and they always did their nights over there. They did a whole week as the band in residence. Not in residence, but every night they played.
What's the guy's name from White Stripes?
Jack White.
Yeah, I mean, I think of Jack White. I think of Radiohead, Smashing Pumpkins, and the White Stripes as being kind of similar in that they've got a true genius behind the band who's trying different things that can, fucking with the sound and doing things that have probably never been done before.
Well, Radiohead had a couple of geniuses, maybe all of them.
Yeah. Okay, let's get down. Oh, I went to a really good documentary.
Oh.
Adam Carolla invited me out to it's not the premiere because I don't think I don't think it has distribution yet, but it was a screening of a thing called Meme Gods, and Cedric the Entertainer produced it as well. And it was really fascinating, and it was something that I guess I never thought about. I thought, like, where do memes come from? It's like, where do bar jokes come from? You just kind of think they fall from the sky, that they're just there. And it's an industry. There are a number of people that are meme gods, that they sit down every day and they make 3 or 4 memes, and it takes a lot of filters and apps and, designing what it looks like, and then obviously writing funny jokes that go with it. And this one guy, Tank Sinatra, was a part of
I
it.
follow him.
Yeah,
on
he's
Instagram.
great. He was great. And he hit me up the next day. He said, "Oh, I saw you out in the audience. I wanted to come over and say hi. I've never met him, but maybe maybe I'll have him on the podcast."
Oh, definitely have him on the podcast. He's funny. But, I always also assumed that they were, mostly aggregators, that
Some
they
of them
find
are.
them.
No, as a matter of fact, an aggregator is really looked down on. If somebody puts out a meme, they usually watermark it, which means their name is on the screen, or at least their handle is on the screen. And then there's people that take it and take that handle off the screen and then try to put it out as their own. And there's a couple people in particular who are known for doing that are despised. And, it's like stealing somebody's jokes as a stand-up comedian.
Oh, no. Who got in really big trouble with it?
There's the guys that produced that disastrous music festival down in Miami. Or was it an island?
Oh,
Remember?
yeah, the Fire Festival?
Yeah, the Fire Festival. Whoever is behind the Fire Festival is one of the thieves. The Something Brothers, or...
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, but also, who's the Jewish is in his name? I'm forgetting.
Oh, Big Jewish or Old Jewish or something.
Yeah, he has gotten a lot.
He was the main guy. Yeah, everybody shit on that guy. And they had an interview with him, and he looks like a piece of shit.
The Fat Jewish.
The Fat Jewish, yeah.
He was blatantly stealing and not giving credit.
Right.
Blatantly posting without giving credit. Why don't I say that? That's technically true.
And there's a lot of money involved. These guys are making millions of dollars each putting out these memes, because then they just do product placement on their Instagram feed, and they get paid.
Yeah.
Cedric was there, my old boss, guy who gave me my first writing job.
Nice.
Hung out with him for a while. He is truly one of the funniest people to riff with. Like, he just loves riffing. He just likes fucking around. Super funny. He's there with his wife. He's been with her forever, and he's just such a good dude.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
All right, let's go to Florida.
You got it, man. We got Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. A Mr. David Hughes participated in a $250 buy-in ladies no limit hold'em event at the World Series of Poker's ladies event over the weekend.
Oh, boy.
And social media was quick to skewer the gambler, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported. Hughes, a 70-year-old man from Delton, Florida, was allowed to enter the all-female tournament alongside 82 women. Per its anti-discrimination legislation, Florida casinos by law cannot ban men from entering into a woman's tournament.
Or body.
How has DeSantis not killed this anti-discrimination legislation?
Right. I know.
Yeah. Hi, Sheila. Sheila, you want me to show you my pair? No?
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah.
I
Wordplay.
mean, look, he's a Florida man, so don't sweat it, ladies. He's got to be divorced. Half the winnings will still go to a woman.
That's it. I love this guy. Also, I read in the article, one could do this in Nevada as well. I think they do not. They listed some of the states that do not prohibit the other gender from entering a tournament. For women or men.
Well, why do you think he won? Like, I was thinking about this. Like, men are certainly more aggressive. They're better liars. And there comes a point in Texas Hold'em where when somebody's down, you fucking kick them. You squeeze them. It's not good traits.
We're not leaving out better at math? Or we are?
I
Okay, we are leaving that out.
originally
We're gonna
thought
leave that
about
out?
that, but then I have so many female friends that are accountants that I don't think that that's true.
Well, it's an old trope for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and that's what this show is called, Old Tropes.
Old tropes in the Sunday mornings. Yeah. Well, I'm not great at math, so I can't join the ranks of men like this guy.
Yeah, but you know what you are good at? Sports.
Sports. All right.
This guy, former UFC fighter Felipe Colares, died on Monday at 29 years old. His coach said that Colares was hit by a bus in Rio de Janeiro on Monday morning while returning from a training session. He was responded to but died in the transport to the hospital. My first question is, was the bus on testosterone shots and Joe Rogan vitamin powder? I mean, how did it get him?
I want to see
Do
a
you guys
picture
have
of the,
lightning-like reflexes?
I want to see pictures of the fucked up bus.
That's right. You should see the bus. That's what he said before he died. You should see the bus.
Right before he tapped the bus on the fender. All right, you got me.
Read my joke.
It was the bus, and as he was, I didn't
Literally.
see that there.
Your joke, word for word.
Wow, sorry about that.
Hey, don't worry about it. Feel free to, read the script once in a while.
No, I'm not going to read your jokes. I don't want to spoil it or have it
All right.
influence me.
All
I
right,
came up
good.
with that gold dust on my own.
Let's go to business. We are ripping through.
Look at business. We're at, look at us, man. Okay, so we got Bed Bath & Beyond, Toys R Us, and Radio Shack have now all shut down for the same reason. I'll give you one guess. Greg?
I would say people are shopping online.
Yeah, Amazon. So, founded in 1971 as Bed and Bath, a small linen and bath store, the company changed its name to Bed Bath & Beyond in 1987, and I think they might have overreached. You can't have a Beyond section. I mean, talk about every store should put Beyond, especially imagine like Staples. How limiting is Staples?
Yeah.
That should be Staples and Beyond.
Yeah.
Toys R Us or Toys and Beyond R Us. Steak and Shake and Beyond.
Yeah, it's not just Steak and Shake. They got fries. It's beyond.
They
What
have
about,
chicken.
like-
They might even have fish.
Thai massage and beyond.
Well, we know that.
Or any bodega on the Lower East Side. Bodega with nothing on the shelves and beyond, meaning you can buy a fucking dime bag. That's how they make the money.
The article did go into detail. I'm trying to remember it now, but it was like that these stores were called, these were the original killers, and they were called category killers, I believe. And a category killer was a Best Buy came in the neighborhood. Well, that put out even smaller chains like Radio Shack. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it put out any mom and pop stereo store, any of that stuff. And Toys R Us did the same thing with, independently owned toy stores. And now the killers have been killed by an unlimited bookstore.
Will anything ever be bigger than Amazon? It's bigger than the federal government, apparently, in terms of their economic power and size.
Yeah. And I believe I have this right. I'm sure someone will fact check me that the Amazon bookstore, meaning Amazon, has still not made a profit. Still has not made $1. Their computer services and their programs that they sell and set up other retailers, that is very profitable. But I think there's still a loss leader type of approach to the industry.
Well, I
Someone
can tell you
fact
my
check me.
book, Dear Mrs. Fitzsimmons, came out, I don't know, 12 years ago. It's been reissued, came out in paperback. I never got a dime beyond what I got up front.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's publishing for you.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right. Let's get to this day in history.
You got it, pal.
Now, this was a big day. On the afternoon of May 7th, 1915, a British ocean liner, Lusitania, is torpedoed without warning by a German submarine. Did you know there was submarines in 1915?
There was a submarine in the Civil War, I think.
I saw it. As I'm saying that, I remember going to the Intrepid, which is a great museum. It's on the Intrepid boat. They have a museum of...
All right.
And they had a wooden submarine that they used in the East River because the British ships were over on the Brooklyn side. And so at night, they had these wooden U-boats, and it had a hand crank for the propeller. And they got in it at night, and they went across, and they planted explosives on the side of the hulls of the ships, the British ships, and then they rode the little U-boat back again.
I can't believe that people didn't die every single time they did that.
It's unbelievable. So anyway, within 20 minutes, this was off the coast of Ireland. Within 20 minutes, the vessel sank, and 19 out of 1,959 passengers and crew, 1,200 died, drowned,
Oof.
including 128 Americans. Germany defended the action, even though the U.S. was upset, noting that it had issued warnings on its intent to attack all ships, neutral or otherwise, that entered the war zone around Britain. So President Woodrow Wilson pledged neutrality for the U.S., and most of America favored that. However, once this happened, things kind of swung. And then by 1915, Germany announced unrestricted submarine warfare in the waters around Britain. So anyway, I guess they had some warning, and they had been telling the ships to like zigzag to confuse the U-boats who were like plotting the vessel's courses. But the captain of the Lusitania ignored these recommendations. So they had 100, but it turns out they had 173 tons of war munitions, which were meant for Britain, which the Germans cited as further justification for the attack. And yeah.
All right. You know what I want to go back? I'm so ignorant in big parts of history, most of history, I'd say. I wonder, what was the Germans' platform, if you will? What was their messaging in World War One? I'm well aware of what it was in World War Two.
I think it was, you think this is bad, wait 30 years.
We're just telling you guys, you better let us win. This is for you, not us. You really should let us win.
I mean,
Like, was it more reasonable?
Well, wasn't it like, I feel like every word out of my mouth is being questioned and held up against the Wikipedia page, but it's always territory. It's always about territory. They never tell you that, but that's what it is.
Well, I have to imagine, and I'm sure people who know history are just smashing their heads against the wall listening to this, but I have to imagine the Germans thought to some extent that they were the chosen ones.
Yes.
That God created them, as most people when they go to war, that whatever God it is on their side and created them in his image, and that they're a superior race. I'm sure that was bantied about a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I know it was like, wasn't it like the Habsburgs?
I know I remember studying this in college and studying each of the Weimar republics and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to go back and educate myself. But if someone you don't have to tell me the facts because I'll know them by next week. But if someone has a theory or an opinion on what the world would have looked like if Germany had won World War I, I'd like to hear that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember. It is amazing how much history I've studied. And I mean, I'm just in awe of some people have crazy good memories, and I don't remember anything. I don't remember like events from my life. I wish that I'd kept a journal because I've led a pretty interesting life, and I don't remember most of it.
Well, maybe you're one of the people who can buy your own fucking book and read it, and maybe you'll get some profit from Amazon.
That's a great idea. I'm not buying it from Amazon, though. I'm buying it from Borders Books.
Buy it used from your wife. Unread, uncracked.
All right, let's get to some letters from the editor.
You got it, pal.
Okay. Shagtha is the person's name.
Oh.
And he said on there, I shouldn't say he, could be a woman.
I don't know what that is. I'm going to say that.
It just seems like everything was spelled correctly and it's not rambling.
All right.
On the recent pod, April 16th, you told a story of trying to kill a bug with WD-40. I was coming back from a trip to Thailand and was unpacking, and this bug that was big enough to look like it came from a sci-fi movie jumped out of my bag and started running around. I grabbed what I thought was bug spray and chased it around the room. After minutes, the bug just stopped, turned around, and started looking at me. It was then I looked at what I was spraying. It was a can of Axe body spray. So now I don't just have a scary foreign giant bug, but now he has the arrogance and anger of a 17-year-old.
Well done.
That's hilarious.
Nice.
This one is from Todd Waldron. He said, I just thought I'd throw you a little trick for your next VPN ad. As you know, we advertise VPN ad.
Yeah.
What are they called again? ExpressVPN, which I've had on my computer for years, and it's great. He said, you know how you say that changing your city will get you a better rate on your plane ticket? Check this out. In Australia, you have to, by law, post the absolute minimum cost of anything you buy online. So, in other words, like if there's costs, like if for an Airbnb, if there's cleaning fees and all that stuff, they have to include that. Ticketmaster, it has to include every single convenience fee in the price. So
Why
if
don't
you
we
set
have
it
that
for
here?
Australia, then you get disclosed all that information. Thank you, Todd. Good little tip.
I like that a lot. I see what he's saying. So American companies have to do that when they post in Australia.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
That is correct. That is correct.
I like it.
Very sad obituary this week.
All right.
And that's all, folks.
talking about new
That seems
and up-and-coming
judgmental of
music.
the other dead people. Okay.
You want to read this one? Why don't you read this one?
Sure. Gordon Lightfoot, the folk singer, songwriter known for "If You Could Read My Mind" and "Sundown," and for songs that told tales of Canadian identity, died Monday. He was 84. Bob Dylan said that his fellow singer died, quote, without ever having made a bad song, and that every time Dylan listened to one of them, he wished it would last forever. Dylan went on, by the way, to say that when he recorded John Wesley Harding, the album, he tried to emulate the sound of Lightfoot without success. He goes, I thought if I could get that sound, I could, but we couldn't get it. Dylan lamented at the time.
You know
Lightfoot
what the sound was? It was a very Irish. It was Irish folk. The way he had that kind of falsetto and that lilt. It was, yeah.
Sundown. It's also the intonation.
Yeah.
Is very unique. He was a Canadian folk rock legend whose international hit songs, we already did that. Oh, Rainy Day People, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald as well. He was considered by many to be Canada's greatest songwriter.
That
writing
says a
and
lot.
singing.
You're talking about Neil Young. You're talking about Leonard Cohen. You're
Joni
talking
Mitchell.
about Joni Mitchell.
Yeah. He's
Ryan
not.
Adams.
So I think we just decided he's not their greatest songwriter.
Yeah.
Many top hits across the English-speaking world in the 70s, but his success began at home in Canada after a childhood spent studying and performing music. His first hits began charting in the early 60s. He lived for a brief period in Los Angeles before returning to Canada and settling in Toronto, where he became a fixture of the city's folk music scene. Lightfoot released his first singles in 1962. All right, you added a lot to this story.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. But
okay,
let's just say the guy had a lot of songs, and they were very good. I've been listening to them all day, and might be beating out Seals and Croft for my new guilty pleasure. Is it guilty to like Gordon Lightfoot? At a time, I remember there being a stigma of it being, too light rock. But as I get older, I guess you're supposed to. I guess you're supposed to embrace it as you get older, because now I find that there's a deepness to it that I missed before.
I don't know, Baker Street and stuff.
I was just going to say Jerry Rafferty. I was just going to say that.
So it's similar in a way, because that appeared on Euphoria, right? And that was driving things. And so was Stranger Things, even with The Clash got a pop and a lot of, and Kate Bush, which we talked about. And, I think Kate Bush might have been Stranger Things. So someone can erase their correction now. I think I said it was Euphoria. So anyway, like on the drive to school, Olivia all of a sudden was not only playing Rafferty, but because the algorithm saw her like Rafferty, it got her to If You Could Read My Mind. And You Could Read My Mind. Now, I don't know if that's been used, but it's one of those songs that when I hear it, it's so good. And then I'm like, someone should Scorsese this shit. Like, someone should cut a violent scene to this song, or like an energetic, tense scene to this song.
Like Stuck in the Middle with You, Steelers Wheels during Reservoir Dogs.
I was just going to say, just like Tarantino does.
Yeah.
And maybe they did ask and he never granted permission for the master, the rights. I don't know what it is, but that song is something else. It's really great.
Yeah. So
is Sundown.
I remember I was reading an obituary. I don't know if it was his, but it said, rest in peace, Jerry Rafferty. Shut up. He's dead. Not resting. Is that a rest when you die? You taking a break? You just taking a break? You're not coming back. It's not a rest if you're not coming back.
I think we're all coming back, aren't we?
Wouldn't that be a shame?
You can't rule it out. It's infinity or until the world. It's either infinity or like another 35 years.
What do you think? All right. I know that you are cynical and a nihilist. So you believe that nothing happens when we die. But what do you think is the most likely? Say we say there was life after death, what do you think is the most likely scenario?
My mind can't even go there. Life after death. My brain's not big enough to even give you a scenario, even one that I don't believe in. Like, I mean, I think we're formless, and I think it's an energy. And was it Sleeper or someplace had like stars when the person talked, the star would like light up kind of, and there was a conversation. Was that Sleeper? I forget what it was, but it was like, "Hey, is that you?" Yeah, and it like they were two stars talking to each other.
Yeah, right.
I don't, something like that. But
I just picture,
again,
every time I finish jerking off, I feel like I'm gonna have to answer for that. There's videotape that someone's gonna review, maybe my whole family, and that's what my afterlife is.
Oh, if my mom's mom, my grandmother, was able to look down the day she died, I have a lot of explaining to do.
Wait, can I get a location on that?
What do you mean?
For what happened that night?
Oh no, it's very easy. Hey, who's in the living room? Sophie, welcome home. Don't listen to this for a second. I was in 7th grade at Iona Grammar School, very tense. They'd hit me in the face and all that. Anyway, that week I discovered masturbation.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember that week, but it was like, I don't even know if I heard a single word that any human being said on the planet that week.
Yeah.
And I would just be in school staring at the clock, staring, when can I get home? When can I get home? When can I get home? And do it again. And so I stared at the clock, boom, hop on my bike. I mean, I must have broken every record on the way home. I get home, I pop in, my mom and sister are crying in the kitchen. I'm like, what's going on? And like, grandma died. And there was a long pause. I'm like, I'll be down in a second. And
I thought you were going to say, thank God, I thought you found my socks.
I'll be down in a second. Ran right to the bathroom.
No way.
Right to the bathroom and took care of business. And then came down and was really sad. For many reasons.
Oh, God, that's awful.
Yeah.
You are an awful person.
Well, so imagine running into that bitch.
Yeah, right.
Grandma, listen. She's like, you couldn't have waited 10 seconds.
You lubricated your cock with your tears. Does that seem wrong?
And did it so fast. There wasn't even a distracting thought.
Tissues at that moment should have been used for something very different.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of tissues, let's get to the funnies.
All right.
All right. Now
I do not have a Dilbert this week. I didn't find one.
Do not have a Dilbert.
It's that's appropriate because there's just a giant white space where a Dilbert comic should be. So that's kind of like there's a Dilbert.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Lockhorns, Leroy is with his buddy. They're in the living room, and there is a waft of black smoke pouring into the living room. They're both looking up at it, and Leroy goes, wait, I can read it. It says, dinner is ready.
It's very creative. It is very creative. I should go find, it's going to be right here, who sent this in. I'm bad at that. And this was from Brett Wood. Brett Wood sent in this Far Side, and now I have to find the Far Side that I just lost. Sorry about this, everybody. So it is two pilots. You're seeing the front of the plane. And they're both like smiling pretty big and laughing. And one goes, he's on the PA and he goes, sorry to interrupt you folks, but we've just had a report of some turbulence ahead. So please stay in your seat a little while. And then he's off and he goes to the other pilot, ready, 1, 2, 3, and they just start rocking the plane back and forth. And you see the plane totally switching left, right, and they're howling with laughter. And then the last frame. Well, folks, guess we're through the worst of it. And oh, wait, looks like we're coming into some more turbulence. I like that. I'm going to find one. There's another airplane one that I recall being my favorite, one of my favorite Far Sides.
Well, no, the funniest of all time is when they say, I can't remember the wording, but it was like, sit tight, everybody. Keep your seatbelts on. We're going to just get through some turbulence. We'll be okay. And then he goes, we are going to fucking go down. This is it. Goodbye. And
No. All right, I didn't know you. All right, you're spoiling it. I was going to pull it up next week. No, I remember what it is, and I may not get every word, but two pilots. One is wide-eyed and goes, oh my God, the fuel light's on. We're all going to die. And then the pilot's like, that's the intercom light. And you see all the faces in the windows are just terrified.
Right. Yeah, God, I butchered that. It's my memory.
It's hard to remember them.
Here's one I'll always remember is this fucking pile. He's got a red bow tie on. And Blondie is standing up. She's got on a black velvet skirt just above the knee and a white sweater over a black shirt. And her bosoms are literally heaving. She looks like she could go scuba diving for 30 minutes and live off of those titty bombs. So he's eating. He's seated while she stands pouring him a cup of coffee. And he goes, honey, the crust on this French toast is a little crunchier than usual. And she goes, I know, dear. You prefer crunchy French toast when I'm running late to open my catering shop. And then she leaves the frame and he looks at camera and goes, every day I learn a little more about myself. Here's what you can learn, Dagwood.
Yeah.
Here's what you can learn.
He has a lot to learn.
You need to be grateful and humble. You need to be the biggest vagina muncher this side of the Mississippi. You need to make your own fucking breakfast. You need to make her breakfast. Even the dog is laying there going, this math equation it's not computing for me.
Yeah. He also may need to learn, how about make breakfast for the working woman in the household once in a while?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Her catering business is thriving. I don't know if you've been reading it lately, but she's
No,
been,
I have not.
Oh my God, every day she's got another appointment. She's got another delivery. She's cooking at home. She not only cooks at home, she delivers it, she serves it, and then she takes business meetings to set up more business. All the while, he's napping. He's napping at work. Ugh.
It's clearly envy that you have for him. I think that's what's happening.
I have a lot of envy for him. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, I love my wife, as you know, and I wouldn't trade her for the world, except Blondie.
I think even Erin would allow Blondie to move in.
I think so. I think if she found a blonde
She'd be
hair,
cooking for you guys. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right. And catering our meals.
Right. And contributing to the household finances.
All right, well, listen, folks, we want to thank Midcoast Media. Chris Denman not here this week. It's our fault. We got our days confused, or I should say I got our days confused.
Yes.
And did not
Good
give
correction.
him a heads up. Although you could have also written a text to him when you planned the date that we were doing this.
Well,
Not all on me.
then it would have been really messed up because then two of us would have been on the same page and you would not have.
Right.
So,
So, Chris, we missed you this week. That's why we were writing down the time code so they can edit it for you people who we love. We
Yep.
appreciate you listening. We ask you to please go to Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars, leave a comment, and please tell your friends. We would love to share this podcast with more people.
all righty.
All right,
Nothing
Mike.
to promote, really. I guess the New York Knicks. I'd like to promote them.
How are they doing?
I'm back on the bandwagon.
Yeah. How far into the playoffs are we at this point?
I think they're 1-1 in the second round, and I know the Lakers, I think, play in 13 minutes because
Oh.
it's Thursday night. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Golden State.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Lakers against Golden State, really?
You got it, pal.
All right. I'm going to start watching basketball also.
LeBron versus Curry.
All right, well, listen, say hi to Sophie. Have a great trip, and we'll see you when you get back.
Take it easy.
Take it easy!
Take it easy.